Hi, Mr. Smith.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Randy. I'm the social worker. You've been assigned to come in to talk with me today. Are you okay? Do you need anything? Can I get you some water or anything like that?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Do you prefer Mr. Smith, Mark? You tell me.
Mark works.
Mark works? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go by Mark. And like I said, I'm Randy. One of the things that we're gonna go through, I know that you initially completed, your client face sheet and your intake paperwork and, things of that nature. But there's just kind of like some things that, we're going to review together, going to get just a little more. That was just some basic information. I'm going to go a little more into detail about some paperwork that I have to have completed. I see here that you did, prior to me going into that, I want to explain to you confidentiality, and whatever we discuss here will be kept here unless I feel like you're a threat to yourself or others, or any visible signs of psychosis, or if you disclose to me, you're gonna go and try to seek out whoever the person was that called in the report, things of that nature. That I won't be able to maintain confidentiality on.
So what I say here doesn't go back unless I'm gonna hurt somebody, which I'm not.
Correct.
You don't share this information.
No, I won't share it with your employer. I won't share
Okay,
it
because that's what
with-
I'm concerned with,
Yeah.
DCF, and then I'm a
Yeah.
teacher.
Right.
So
Right.
these allegations are scary, but
right.
go
And
ahead.
I totally agree with that, and that's why I wanted to really go over that. These sessions are confidential. I want you to feel comfortable in sharing, how you're feeling, and things of that nature. So I do see here that when you did your initial intake paperwork, you completed the client face sheet. That was great.
I mean, did they not give you that? I really gotta sit here and go through this again? I
Those-
did this like with a few people. They've been in my house.
Yeah.
So I gotta go through this paperwork again?
No, those are just preliminary forms. I just I just want to go through and make sure that you remember signing them. Just kind of if you have any questions. I see that you signed the HIPAA privacy notice, and that's really just gave you an explanation of what the information is, how it's used, how it's protected. With anything that may be released or not released. I see that you also signed a HIPAA consent form, and that really just kind of gave an explanation of how me, the social worker, and how the agency will use the information, and that through that fact gathering, and how we'll contact you, and things of that nature. I see that you also signed a consent for service form, and that was just really
I mean, I really didn't have a choice,
okay.
right? I feel like, because I'm just still so nervous that if I don't go through with these, that they're gonna open a case back up. So,
Right.
I mean, it's not you, but I feel like I had to sign that paper.
Right. And I know how difficult that can be, especially feeling like, I really don't want to do this, but I feel obligated. I feel a sense of fear that if I don't, then, things will happen. And, let's just kind of get started. Hopefully by the time we end our sessions, you won't feel, that you were obligated, and hopefully the sessions will be very helpful, okay, for you and your son. And then I also see that you signed a release of information. And that release was just pretty much saying, that you give permission for us to release the information back to, DCF if they requested, or to whomever. All right. If you see me, oh, I'm sorry. One moment. Hello. Hey. Yeah, let me call you back. I'm actually with the client. Okay, is everything okay? Alrighty, let me call you back. Alrighty, bye-bye. Sorry about that. I was
Well, I mean, it's a
expecting-
little frustrating because you're not the first person to do this through this process. And, I'm supposed to be here for my wife, and you're answering the phone.
And I apologize. That was my daughter. She's in college, and I was been expecting her call. I should have actually told you before we got started that the call was going to come through, but I did turn my phone off, so we won't have any more interruptions. Okay. Alrighty. Thank you. As I was saying, one of the things that, if you see me writing, I'm just taking case notes, and, those are just really summaries. I'm just taking notes, and they're just little summaries for me to be able to recall what we talked about in our sessions, and things of that nature. So as we were discussing prior, tell me, your thoughts on the reason why, you know, you're here and what kind of all got this process started.
I mean, I don't know how much they relate to you in this information, but my wife died about 4 months ago from breast cancer.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that.
So I won't even say ever since then because it started before then. With her being diagnosed, it's just the last year it's been just difficult. So my wife died, and you know that's tough. And you know, so my son went to school, and I guess apparently, you know, it was just so crazy because it's my same district. You would think people know me. That he didn't seem fed, and he wasn't participating in class, and he seemed sleepy, but so I don't know. So DCF made me do all this stuff, and it wasn't true, and so I have to be here. And so it's just one more thing that I have to deal with.
Okay. And you said your wife passed away from breast cancer. Was it unexpectedly, or was it?
I mean, you know, I don't know how much you can prepare yourself, but it's been over the year, and we just kind of been dealing with a little bit of guilt. She initially went to primary care about, I don't know, maybe a little bit around this time last year.
Okay.
And as a couple, we just decided, you know, we kind of wait till after the holidays. It was a little bit hard to get an appointment as well, so we just put it off. And so, you know, things just went so fast. She was in the hospital, and they were talking about hospice. They want to kill my wife, and so yes, it didn't happen overnight, but it happened so fast that it felt like it was overnight.
Okay, alrighty. While you were in the hospital, did your son receive any services or anything from like a child life specialist, or, you know?
No, you know, at that time I just, you know, my culture, I was trying to be strong, and I you know, felt like we could, as a family unit, come through it. So, you know, I remember the hospital saying something about hospice services and some other services that, but you know, we just don't do that. So we talked to our pastor. We've been at the church for maybe 6-7 months. And we just decided we'd try to handle it ourselves. So, but he hasn't gotten much services, no.
Okay, alrighty. And what about yourself? How is, and like I said, I empathize, you know, with everything that you're going through, and just, you know, you coming in this morning and taking the time out to really just come in and get this process started and things of that nature. How are things going for you with work, and, you know, you're sleeping and you're eating, you know, how are you coping?
I mean, I don't know. Most days I don't even understand how I'm gonna move on with work. You know, getting up is tough, and I don't feel hungry most of the time. I used to be really big into sports before my wife died, and I just don't even feel like doing that. Some of my friends have called, and I just don't feel like doing it. And I don't sleep much, and then you're dealing with high school kids, so I don't know. I just don't know how I'm gonna do this.
Okay. And when you say friends, do you have family in the area? I mean, what's your support system like?
I mean, I don't have any family.
Okay.
Me and my wife moved here for an opportunity a while back.
Okay.
I've been with the system for about 10 years.
Okay.
But I'm not a super social butterfly. My wife actually was that person who kind of got us out with people. So
Okay.
I don't have any family. I have maybe 1 or 2 friends, but they have their own life, so I don't want to burden them with my problems.
Okay. And you said you've been with the school. Which school is it again that you're with?
It's Briar Ridge High School.
All right. Okay. And what county is that in?
It's in Orange County.
Okay. And your date of birth?
It's 6/10/83.
All righty. And how do you identify yourself?
It's African American, I guess.
Okay. And I'm going to assume male. And your age?
34.
34.
I can't believe my wife is gone. I'm only 34 years old.
Wow.
And I don't know how you're gonna help me if you can't bring her back. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah. It is, especially for me, and I guess that would be like the $1 million question is, helping to bring your wife back. And, I think that hopefully through our process, we'll be able to, kind of come up with some goals and kind of help you and your son to really get back to some set of normacy and things of that nature. Was your wife primarily responsible for your son and making sure that he was up and ready for school and, kind of doing that day to day?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing that's been hard. The school want to call on me, but we kind of had a pretty traditional. My wife was traditional, so she cooked a lot. Not to say I didn't. And her and my son had their own ritual in the morning with getting dressed. It was their own thing, and even though I could help them get dressed, I just didn't because it was their thing.
Okay.
And so now I don't know what to do because I think it reminds him of his mom when I try to get him ready, and sometimes that can become an ordeal. I just don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to see him like that. So,
Right.
I just don't know. And so I've been trying best I can, and then half the time he's not even hungry himself, and so it's just been tough. Our roles, I don't know.
The roles. And one of the things that, through our sessions that we're going to focus on is goal setting. And I know how it is with a 6-year-old, especially if he's independent and wants to do things on his own. We'll talk about, how we can kind of incorporate maybe him, you picking out his clothes, and then in the morning he kind of, picks an outfit out or something like that. And, maybe, doing some small meals together and things of that nature. So we're going to set some goals. There'll definitely be those goals that you feel that you want to focus on, and, that you feel that are important for you and your son, and things of that nature. And then, throughout the course, like I said, we'll have 2 sessions, pretty much just to go over the assessment part of it, to do some preliminary paperwork. We'll talk about the biopsychosocial assessment. We'll go through that. That's going to take us about 2 sessions to go through and complete it, and, things of that nature. This is just, the initial phase of it. And then we're going to go into goal settings. And those goals are definitely going to be those things that you want to focus on, what you feel is going to be important for you.
No, I mean, sometimes will I ever get better? Sometimes I just don't. Is that, I hope, but I don't know, or setting goals, or I just ever get back to, I don't know.
One of the things, in getting better, I mean, that's a relative, question, but one of the things that I'm hoping is that you and I will be able to, kind of look at where you are right now, where you would like for you and your son to be by the end of our sessions, and hopefully life will kind of gotten back, to some normalcy, some degree of familiarity for you and for your son. Hopefully you'll be able to kind of get back in being engaged with your sports, and, you and your son be able to develop your own, things together, and to really kind of be that role model for him, and that you've been, I just really want to commend you, on being a single father and taking care of him, and, really understanding the importance of, coming in and starting these sessions, and, really doing something that you really don't feel that you should be doing, but that is important to do.
Well, it's important, and I feel like, still I'm wondering, are you guys going to take my kid away? Like,
No.
Are you?
No, I don't work for DCF. We are a separate entity, so my main focus is to make sure that we get you to a point where you feel comfortable, where you know that, you do have the ability to raise your son, to be a supportive father, to get back into work, to be able to be, amazing teacher, and to do your day-to-day activities that you were able to do prior to your wife passing away, and to still remember her in a very graceful way, and things of that nature. Okay. All right, so what I would like to do is, our next session is going to be next week. I have set for us the 21st of November at 11 a.m. Will that work for you? I know with you being a teacher, do you think that's something that you'll be able to?
Well, I gotta, this whole ordeal has been, I gotta go do this, and I gotta go do this. So it's one more thing to do.
Okay.
But, I feel like it may be helpful.
Okay.
And so I can maybe ask my principal to give me a planning period to
Okay.
make it work.
Okay.
So I'll do that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe a month. So if he can agree to, that'll give us the necessary time that we need to kind of go through the process and kind of get to where we need to be. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions for me? Concerns, fears, anything like that?
No,
No?
just we'll see what happens.
All right. And again, I mean, I just really want you to know that you doing this, you being here, shows great courage. Thank you for, and I apologize for my cell phone ringing. That won't happen. I'll make sure to turn it off. In between our sessions and things of that nature. And I'll see you on the 21st at 11 o'clock.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.